Hey, what's up, guys? So I want to go over this article here and sort of give my thoughts on it. It's from NFL.com. 5 big-name NFL players who should be traded this offseason. So I'm curious to go over this right here. And first off, we have them going over Kyler Murray. So Kyler Murray right now is in a somewhat seemingly interesting situation. At least that's sort of how it seems in the media, with those reports coming out that the Cardinals sort of see him as... There was this one tweet that someone came out with saying they see him as self-centered. How true are these things? I don't completely know. There's so many rumors that fly around the NFL these days. Maybe there's some truth to it. Maybe there's not. But there does seem to be some kind of issue between Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals, with Kyler Murray also taking off tons of his Cardinals pictures on his Instagram. Maybe that doesn't mean anything. Maybe it does. So there's lots of sort of uncertainty, I feel like, with this situation. And they say this, hear me out, Kyler is a perfect trade target right now. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of speculation about guys like Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers being on the move this spring. I don't see either of those guys relocating. I hope Aaron stays. Yes, please. The Seahawks would be crazy to part with Wilson. I mean, if you had to choose between one of the premier quarterbacks in the NFL or a 70-year-old coach, call me nuts, but I'm leaning towards the quarterback, especially one who still has a number of years left. The Packers would be similarly crazy to get rid of Rodgers. Also, I'm sure Rodgers is savvy enough to know that he's not getting dealt to an NFC team, and with how stacked the AFC is, he would be better off staying put. I like Kyler to move because the Cardinals won games without him last year. He would bring in a huge bounty of picks. So that is an interesting point. Obviously, I think you would get a lot for Kyler Murray just because of how talented of a player he is. I believe he's going to be going into his 4th year with the Cardinals, and he's still on that rookie contract, so they haven't given him some big, massive contract yet. And so if the rumors are true that there is some kind of issue between Kyler Murray and the Cardinals, maybe it's not true, maybe it's all media speculation, but if there is some truth to that, maybe the Cardinals don't see Kyler Murray as their future, and maybe they want to, potentially try to find someone else. Maybe that would make sense to bring in all those picks. My prediction would be Kyler stays, but who knows? So that is an interesting potential trade idea. Next one, we have Saquon Barkley. So he says, I know the running back position doesn't carry the value it once had, and to be honest, the market for a running back coming off 2 injury-ravaged seasons isn't great. The Giants need to be choosy about which skill players stay around to start the Brian Daboll era. It's obvious Saquon is talented, but Daniel Jones should be given a chance to develop without having to worry about featuring a running back. In full disclosure, I will be willing to give Kenny Galladay and Evan Ingram, a free agent this offseason, another shot. Moving Barkley to a team that needs a little juice at running back makes a lot of sense, especially considering Devontae Booker, who is more efficient than Barkley in 2021, is under contract for cheap through 2022. So Saquon Barkley is in an interesting situation considering his past season, he really didn't play that well. I think he averaged about 3.7 yards per carry. Back in his rookie season, of course, the year he dominated, he was looking as, one of the best running backs in the NFL. But this past season, he really hasn't shown that. And I believe he has around I think that the Giants would save around $7 million if they're able to, trade or release Saquon Barkley. The question is there another team out there who would be willing to pay up on that contract considering Saquon Barkley hasn't looked like he has in the past? So that's a question. I don't know if a team would actually end up trading for him, and maybe the Giants, with the new coaching staff they have in there, think that they can find a way to get him going once again, as he sort of looked in the past. So I don't know. I wouldn't feel like someone would trade for him, but you never know. Maybe someone out there, maybe a team out there sees him and says, okay, we can bring him here and we can revitalize his career. I guess it's a possibility. Next, we have N'Keal Harry, Patriots wide receiver. He says the Patriots invested heavily in the wide receiver position in free agency last year. Harry played in 12 games and had a career-low 22 targets last season. So I think he had around 180 receiving yards in 2021. And so with him really not producing for the Patriots, maybe they try to trade him away for some kind of, late-round pick. Are there teams out there who think that they can bring him in and do well? Maybe so. So who knows? Maybe the Patriots will move on from him. Then we have Clelin Ferrell. So he was a 4th pick overall back in, what year is it? I don't know what year it was. 2019, 2020, 2018. I don't know. One of those years. And so they say he's only had 8 sacks in 3 seasons and didn't have a single start in 2021. So maybe he needs a fresh start somewhere else. Maybe another team comes in and trades for him. I guess it's possible. Who knows though? Then finishing it off, Landon Collins, Washington Commanders, strong safety. Washington Commanders, honestly, it's weird saying that name. I honestly like it. I think it's a solid name, but still getting used to it. So they say the market might be pretty tepid right now for the 3-time Pro Bowler, considering teams could just wait a minute and see if Washington outright releases him, which wouldn't be too surprising. Collins was terrible for most of last season before coordinator Jack Del Rio moved him to a hybrid linebacker position that allowed him to play closer to the line of scrimmage. The 28-year-old has missed games due to injury in each of the last 2 seasons, but he could provide a boost to a defense in need of talent and experience. So I think what's interesting with players who are on teams and haven't been playing as good as they used to play, it almost seems like there is that possibility when they go to some kind of new team that they sort of revitalize their career. You know, being a Packers fan, this past season, seeing Rasul Douglas come in from the Cardinals practice squad, previously being a 3rd-round pick. He comes into Green Bay, seems like a great situation with Joe Barry in that Packers defense, and he plays as a really very, very good corner. Same with Devondre Campbell, who teams weren't really willing to offer him a crazy, high contract. The Packers come in, only pay him $2 million, and then he comes in and plays as one of the best linebackers in the NFL. So I think it is interesting to look at these players, these 5 players he thinks about being traded, especially some of these later guys who haven't been playing quite up to maybe how people expect them to play. I do think that just switching up where they are can definitely change things. So maybe there is a team out there who says, okay, this guy isn't playing great for, let's say, the Raiders. Maybe we should trade for him and he can sort of revitalize his career with us, which you would think that there'd be teams out there who sort of have that thought process in their mind. But that is all I wanted to do right now for this video. If you guys haven't subscribed, I put out NFL content, Packers content, all things like that. So subscribe down below if you haven't. Drop a like on the video, and I'll see you guys next time.